Welcome exiles to the second part of making a build from scratch. If you haven't watched the first video, watch that one, then come back to this one, the link is in the description. And just as a recap, we are making one bit nothing Cyclone character that's probably gonna be a champion. Well, trying to make it a champion. I usually go gladiator, but I wanna try to push the champion, see if that can work out. And basically we started from nothing. We are not using any like from POE Ninja or any other build that we found that we are tweaking. No, we just started from nothing, imported crafted rares. For now we have crafted rare items to serve as a base. The moment we're faking one with nothing, but we'll switch that pretty soon. We just set up Cyclone with Impale for now. We're gonna set it up further in this video, and yeah, that is kind of the base with what we are working. And before I continue with the video, I'm just gonna ask you, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and yeah, let's continue. So first of all, I'm going to turn off show power nodes, so our path of building stops kind of calculating stuff in the background, which can sometimes cause it to kind of slow down. So if you experience something like that, make sure you do that first. So here's the thing, we faked one with nothing. We no longer have to fake it, because I think we're gonna go with this cluster jewel. Since I usually go with this one, we might change our mind later on, but it's like one point to get to this cluster jewel. Now if you're just leveling, you would probably go this route, because it's kind of easier to reach and you have a whole bunch of dexterity along the way. But for the end game, so far this seems better, since you're gonna go through impale nodes and grab this stuff along the way. So I think we're gonna put one with nothing here and just grab it here, and we're just gonna fix our items. So remove this, and that should work. Let me see. I don't know why we had more damage. Gloves. Oop. Yeah, maybe something is kind of funky, I guess. Either way, this is, I think we had more damage because faked weapons had a bit of damage on them. So this is our kind of skill tree at the moment. Now let's set up our skill gems a bit more, because we just have Cyclone Impale, which is pretty good, but we can do better. Now what is really interesting about Path of Building, it's gonna suggest skill gems here that are basically going to give you the most DPS. Now, it's not as smart as you might think. For instance, you can do rage support, which is not like here. It says like it's gonna give you, I don't know, a bit of damage, but like 11% compared to something like brutality, which is gonna give you 63%. But the thing is, let's raise the levels to 80, I guess. So it says like we have level requirement, but it's still like not working because of strength. So yeah, anyways, you have to do configuration and say that you actually have rage. So as you can see, if I start stacking up, maximum is 50. And now it makes actually more sense. So we get increased attack damage per 1 rage, which is going to be 50 attack damage. We get attack speed per 2, and we get increased movement speed per 5. And we lose rage every 0.5 seconds if you have not been hit or gained rage recently. So yeah, and we gain rage from this war gem by just hitting stuff. You gain 1 rage on melee hit, no more than once every 0.4 seconds, because we're hitting a lot faster than that. We're going to gain 1 rage every 0.4 seconds. So yeah, that's how that works, and we can stack up rage pretty fast, and later on we can use berserk. I'm just like, you wouldn't link that, but I'm just going to show you what we can gain. So Berserk, you lose rage pretty rapidly. It gives you 20% more attack damage, 20% more attack speed, 30% more movement speed, 20% around 20% less damage taken, and each second you lose more and more rage, basically. So even if you have like ridiculous rage generation, you're going to lose this buff after some time. So we can get access to that if we have this rage gem, and you can see that is a pretty significant boost in damage. However, this doesn't last that long, especially if you're just generating through this rage gem. So this is something that we might think about later on. But if I remove that, it doesn't actually matter. Like, you don't have since we don't have any way to generate rage, it's no longer here, right? So that's how that works. And now let's let Pot of Building actually help us. We're not going to include Awakened Gems, so I'm just gonna skip these first two, and you can see Brutality is pretty significant boost in damage. Then we have melee physical damage, which is also pretty nice multiplier. 40% more melee physical damage. Super skill deal 49 more damage with bleed, poison caused by melee hits. Spore skill deal 10% increased melee physical. So these two gems are probably a must in my opinion. Then we have Pulverize, which is also a really nice boost. It boosts your area damage, and since Cyclone is counted as area damage, it is pretty good. This less attack speed is not pretty significant to us. Doesn't matter if it's reducing it, probably. So it does give you a lot of damage. Pulverize is good. Infused Channeling is also pretty nice. Consecrated Effect we probably won't run because we don't want to lose our area, which is already small to begin with. So we have Infused Channeling, and we are at 6 link, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can like play around with few other skill gems. We have Faster Attack, we have Maim, Rage, and I don't think any other one would be that good. So if I kind of turn this stuff off, and we just hover over these points here, you can see this one gives me 44%, 42, 39, 38, 18. Though when I turn this off and do calculations, is at 50. So even if I have 50 rage, it's still going to give me less damage than something like Infused Channeling. Actually, it kind of gives similar. We just look at total impale DPS. It's still better. This one is 47, 44, 42. So Infused Channeling or Rage. Now Infused Channeling and Fortify is also really decent boost. And the thing is, we might actually drop Fortify on the Ascendancy, since you have Fortify is kind of nice. This means that we don't have to kind of get Fortify in our setup, but the Fortify gem actually increases our damage. And we can take in the Fortify here, which grants you 20% less damage taken from hits, which is pretty huge to have. So the Fortify gives increased attack damage. You gain Fortify when you hit an enemy. Increased duration, not important. Support skill deal 34% more damage with ailments caused by melee hits, and support skill deal 34% more melee damage, which is like 34% more damage. It's pretty good. So yeah, like Fortify is probably like your go-to. If we don't go with Infused Channeling, it might kind of be, because it's blue gem, we might not have intelligence requirement for it, and maybe we kind of decide not to get that. That is like down the road. At the moment we probably cannot use it, and I don't think it's good to invest in intelligence if you don't really need it. if it's just like a bit of damage. Anyways, like infusion is also really good. When you basically when you channel, you gain infusion that lasts 6 seconds. 6 seconds after you finish channeling. So even if you stop channeling, you still have infusion. Gain infusion after channeling a support skill for 0.6 seconds. And support skill deal 30% more damage regardless if you're infusing or not. So that is like more than fortify. It's giving more damage. And infusion grants 10% more damage of type matching the support skill gem tag. And while channeling support skills, you take less damage. So this is really good. So it really depends like where you go with this. Do you go infuse channeling? I think I ran infuse channeling and fortify on my gladiator and didn't run pulverize. But since we can get fortify on our ascendancy, maybe we run infuse channeling instead of fortify to gain a bit less, gain some damage reduction alongside damage, and it's actually more damage than fortify, and we have fortify already. Faster attacks are probably not going to compete, so we're just gonna leave it like this for now. If we decide that we don't want to get fortify here, then we can get taunting, and that's kind of decent, but I wouldn't really lose this part, which is adrenaline, to get this, but this is like 20% more damage. So if you kind of lose this and then just go for this, you would have to also lose adrenaline. Adrenaline is actually pretty huge, but taunting, you go to configuration and just go taunting, that's 20% more damage. And adrenaline is actually way more. Actually, let's see. Adrenaline is stronger for less investment. You can increase damage, attack speed, movement speed, physical damage reduction, and you will have adrenaline here. You go there actually. So this was my initial like setup that I wanted to run, but we might consider just dropping this in favor of taunts if we run fortify in our setup. Since fortify gives a lot of damage and you gain 2 nodes here, which can be used for either this or this, which both are going to be better. If you can just have fortify, and gaining fortify is pretty easy. I mean, you could run vigilant strike, for instance, which gives fortify. Just hit and have fortify for 30 seconds, so that's kind of requires you to invest in like use your skill gem slots, which is not, we don't have a lot of them. Anyways, we kind of set up something. We're gonna run infuse channeling for now. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that is one too many. That was fortify. So we're just gonna run this set for now. Maybe we change it later on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and main skill that is 6. And to be honest, this is pretty respectable damage, even though we haven't invested in gear in anything. I mean, with this you can probably, like, look at this, 30 points, like nothing there. You could probably do tier 5 to tier 10 maps maybe with this. Obviously we would have to cap out the resist. But it is pretty interesting. Now we can show power nodes again, and let's see what we scale. So maybe we take a look at, I kind of know what I want. So Impel, we'll definitely grab this, and we'll see how we get there. The fortify effect is also really juicy here. We have this is like a lot of life, for instance, and it's also giving dexterity. But I kind of know that we have to get this thing. It's just a question how we get there. these nodes here are dexterity, so we could go down and here, because we have to get here either way for this, or we go for this, then it's faster to go up. If you go for this, then it's faster to go from here. And we could go through this 5 life, for instance. This is also really nice, since you get... you're always in blood stance if you don't have stances. So even if we don't run stances, this is going to be pretty significant boost for our damage. And if that's kind of the deal, then it's better to kind of go from the upper side. We're not going to grabbing block in this instance. What is this? Oh, overwhelm. But it's with sword, so we wouldn't use that. This is kind of good, but we're probably not going to use that, so... I'm kind of leaning towards going through the upper side, actually. And you would probably maybe grab these resists, since it's 12 resist, actually gonna be 15. Not 15, but 16. Since it's just 2 points and it's a lot of resist, you kind of help you out, but we'll see about that. And we'll see about this, actually. I'm just gonna go for this thing here and then this thing here. It's kind of glowing pretty strong, to be honest. That is, let me see how much. We get 5% increase. For this we get 6%, but it's 4 travel nodes. One thing that you can do, show power per point, but you can also use power report here. And this is going to tell you like how many travel like nodes to are going to give you the most DPS, and it's actually going to show you notables on cluster jewels. So Master of Force, actually that's not a cluster jewel, sorry, that's a notable, but you can also show cluster jewels. You can see Feed the Fury, Iron Breaker, Force Multiplier. Feed the Fury is gonna be probably the best, and you would probably use that on... probably use 2 cluster jewels in this setup. I don't think I will go for this one up here, but we'll have to see. And also it is gonna stay like this for now, because I kind of wanna finish my travels. Then I'm going to decide what I'm picking on the skill tree. I'm actually going to drop that too, conserving all of my points. One thing here to do is this can be pretty huge, and we might be... let's try this out for a second. Let's drop fluid motion in here. See how good this thing is, because there is like 20 strength here, and this is impelled damage dealt to enemies impelled by you or realm, 10% physical damage reduction, increase impel, 15% chance to impel enemies, impel effect, and strength. Since this is really nice, I want to try that out. This is increase attack speed, and you lose rage slower, 10% to max rage. This could be really nice if we decide to go for rage. Then we have reflect reduction, 15%, 15%, and then 30%, which is 60, and you can just grab a ring which gives, I think, 40. So you can fix reflect damage with this if you wanted to. That is really nice. Now these nodes are actually working, even though they are for 2-handers and 1-handers, which we are not using. But some of the stats on them are actually useful to us, so we'll see if we maybe anoint one of these and just keep 2 points in between. So this node here actually gave us a lot of dexterity. Let's see, that is jewel socket. We have to kind of see it from here. Jewel socket 1, jewel socket 2. This is jewel socket 2. So drill socket 2, removing this from drill socket 2, so you're watching this upper part, will give us, we lose 10% impale damage and lose 86 dexterity. That is pretty nice bump in dexterity, but we're kind of wasting a slot there. And now we kind of can remove this, see if it's actually impactful for our impale chance. We still have 100% chance to impale. Now it's now you kind of have a question. Do you go for like this upper part through this upper region and not use fluid motion here? I mean, maybe like not get this strength because it's kind of wasteful. Maybe not use like fluid motion in here, or I mean, just drop this whole travel shenanigans here, just connect it through up here, since it's dexterity, and just drop this and this, and grab that impale here. That might actually be better, since then you are going through this drill socket and you have drill socket for something else. You would probably slot in something like brown drill, at least one of them, since they're really cheap. I'm not typing that correctly. Anyways, we're gonna check that on the website. Where is this messing with me? Okay, check for updates. You check for updates, nice. We definitely want to go to POE trade to copy an item, since I don't know how to type all of that stuff. Cannot be inflicted. I probably would mistype something, and we want to see something realistically and see like the price for that. And you would do that on not fractured but implicit. That's gonna be on jewels. So we can look for oh, it's typed with A. I guess I mistyping it. So you can see brown jewel with corruption is like 4 chaos, and you kind of solve your problems. You gain a bit of dexterity. Obviously want to hit the one with 6. I mean, both of them would be really nice to have them on 6 if you can, but primarily you would go for dexterity and at least like reduction in intelligence. So you could buy a perfect one. It's not like a big deal, but I'm just gonna copy any of them. And in this region, like here, just Control V and you paste that. We can add it and just say it's a perfect one. Obviously that one's gonna be more expensive, but yeah, maybe like do 5, so it's not like super perfect. But I would go for 6 dexterity, and that one is probably maybe 20ish chaos. I don't know. Maybe you need to snipe it a bit and wait for it to show up, but it shouldn't be like crazy expensive. And that's a better use of travel, I think, to go like that, since you're going through all the dexterity. I mean, this is counted as dexterity, but you have 1-2 strength kind of used here. You would be able to grab this dexterity, but maybe you don't go for this drill socket, since kind of further, and you have this nice 14% life. You could also go for this life, since you would travel through like 2 nodes that are strength, but they're gonna be converted to dexterity. You have 20 dexterity here, which is pretty nice, so you could grab that. But we'll see about that. This apparently is increasing my damage. How? Accuracy, global accuracy rating. Why is that? Oh, my hit chance is not kept. Interesting. It should be kept at the end, since we're gonna get even more dexterity. So let's go up here. This is definitely gonna be grabbed. And we're gonna grab, not that, but like this 8% life. That 8% life is not like that impressive actually. Mostly going for this 20 dexterity. Should we even go there? That is a question. And then the attack speed is probably really juicy. I'm just gonna go from this side for now. And grab... Actually, it's better to go through this side, apparently. Then go for this. And you have a drill socket there. We'll think about that drill socket a bit later on. Maybe... What is this? Accuracy. It's 20 dexterity. It does fix our accuracy, but it doesn't need to be fixed in the first place. Attack speed, attack speed. I probably wouldn't grab that, to be honest. Now, these ones are pretty juicy. Increased attack damage. I would maybe grab at least this one, since it's like 1 point away. That is 7% damage. That is pretty juicy. This one is 10% damage. We can go for that. And then we have attack speed, movement speed here, which is pretty nice. And while this is block, it also gives you increased damage while dual wielding. It is 6%, so maybe not, since like getting these two would give me 4%, but going for this is kind of 11. For this is 7%. Actually, 6% sounds pretty nice for 2 points, because you would need to do 4 points for 6% there. So that looks really nice. This one is 3%, so maybe not. And I'm not sure about this life, since you're going through this node. I guess avoid being stunned is completely useless. That movement speed is not a lot. Stun and block recovery, we don't care. Avoid being stunned, we don't care. And 8% life is actually 4% life, since you're going through one travel node to get to this. And yeah, it's not like that impressive when you look at it. Now the question is how we travel through here. Do we go down here because we can gain onslaught? If we go for this onslaught here, which onslaught is pretty nice boost in damage for clearing, but we can also gain onslaught on a jewel. That is a question. How will we travel through here? We travel through here like that. We can drop that, but we have like 2 travel nodes. This is 1 travel node. But then we can just grab this life like that without going through this. So that actually saved us 1 point, but we kind of traded for, I don't know if it's better or not to go through here and then just grab this, not grab these 2 dexterity nodes. So that way we have to, instead of like 1 dexterity node, we're gaining 1 life node and gaining all the wheel here. That is like totally up to you how you go about that. We'll have to kind of optimize it a bit, I think. But we are kind of in a pretty nice spot. You would probably grab this, not from that side, but from this side, since any drill socket is a good thing in our case. We have some evasion here, stuff that if we travel through here we could get to that drill socket, which is probably a good idea to grab drill sockets. Now I would actually travel a bit up here for maybe this increased life, but it's pretty far away. Maybe we're better just like focusing on grabbing that. That is 4% damage. We're not scaling blocks, so I'm not gonna like invest heavy into block. That is also for block. Since you don't have block. Nope. That looks really nice for now. We'll have to... Let's save this one. Say... New... Actually, let's rename this one. Call this version 1, I guess. And we'll just copy that one and continue working. And if we make some, like, really significant changes, we have to change to that one. Maybe we try, like, grabbing this here and not going up here to all this part here and just going up here to see if that's gonna give us more damage. And then we can compare version 1 and version 2 later on. But yeah. So let's check power per point. And we're not gonna do clusters. This one, it's 5 travel, 7 travel. Do we have like some really low distance? 4 for... I think this one is pretty good. That is that? Claw of the Pride. But we're not claws. We're probably being counted as something, like maybe not all of it. Increased attack and cast speed while here. That is not for claws. Overwhelm, 10% physical damage reduction. It is pretty good, but you go through a whole bunch of... let me see something. This shouldn't really give us any damage. No, it's not giving us any damage. But this overwhelm is actually probably what is kind of causing all that to be good. There is actually an amulet called Revolt's Curse. I think I mentioned that in previous video. I can type that, I guess. Regal's Curse Talisman. Add to the build instead of amulet. That is actually kind of expensive item, but then you can see these claw nodes seem to be even more juicier, and we're up to 1 mil DPS, but there is Strumentis, which is actually much better amulet. If we look at, like, well, let's bring our base amulet. Slot amulet by Impale DPS. Oh, wait a second. We have something else. Increased dexterity, reduced strength. To fire to cold res, 45 buffs you create instead grant more evasion rating. That is not that bad. Increased attack and cast speed while you have 45. Wow, that is pretty juicy. I didn't think that amulet was good, but apparently it does give me 15% Impale DPS. I never seen anyone use this as amulet for this build. I never ever considered this in previous versions of the build, but it's pretty juicy and it's probably like super inexpensive because nobody is using this thing. Let's check that. I'm pretty sure nobody's using it, so we can grab like perfect rolled one for, yeah, 1 alk. We can even, well, we can't really get one with good corruption because we have to first anoint it, then corrupt it, but we could like get ones that have increased dexterity and like perfect rolls, and then anoint, corrupt, anoint, corrupt, anoint, corrupt to kind of get perfect one. Interesting. It might not be as good because later on we'll have a lot more increased dexterity, so maybe we don't really need increase, maybe we need more base dexterity, and that is then Astromantis is gonna be better. So yeah, that's kinda a deal there. But it is pretty interesting stuff. But Rival's Curse is probably not gonna be good. This is actually pretty good to anoint. We can show, let's show just like top nodes. Yeah, that is actually a top node at the moment, because of the overwhelm damage. That is interesting.